All right, I think I'm live. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Dr. Ted McNaylor, here for a special live stream report. I just got home from basically hanging out all day with the hustler Rip Rogers, doing the FR podcast, as well as a couple other fun things. And on the way back, I felt obliged, based on Rip putting it over during the podcast, to stop by the Seymour Brewing Company for the only hustler Rip Rogers exclusive beer you can only get in Seymour, Indiana. And this is the wine barrel aged hustler. Although I was a little sad they didn't have the old Rip logo that they had, but this is the original batch. I confirmed with the brewmaster there, or brewer, or whatever you want to call it. I like brewmaster. It sounds very sophisticated, very official. This is the official wine barrel aged hustler beer. And part of my motivation, one, is I'm a beer enthusiast and I wanted to try it, but also I saw online someone had said, Rip, how is the beer? Well, Rip doesn't drink at all. So he just said, I don't know, it's pink. That's all he could say. But I thought I need to do some good research here and sit down and figure out how is the hustler Rip Rogers beer. And so I'm going to do this for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put myself in this vulnerable position to tell the world how this beer is. So without further ado, let's make it happen. If you can't tell, I've already partaken in a couple just to work up my palate a little bit. So before I pour here and open it up, it says we got a special release small batch from the Seymour Brewing Company. It's at 753 West 2nd Street in Seymour, Indiana. You can give them a call, 812-524-8888. We got a 22-ounce bottle here, and like I said, it doesn't have the fancy label that they previously had, but this is the same batch. So let's go ahead and give it a try here and open it up. Ooh, you hear the carbonation coming out, and good sign that it was sealed properly, which I didn't expect anything less. It kind of has a fruity smell to it, which makes sense, especially this being a wine barrel aged beer. I'm not quite sure otherwise what kind of beer it is, whether it's an ale or a lager or anything like that. I'll have to, I guess, go back and do a little more due diligence, but let's go ahead and give it a pour. Got my glass here, and I always like to give it a little tilt and pour it in. I don't mind a little bit of a head though, because it gets rid of some of that carbonation there. So I'll pour it in. Ooh, it's got a kind of a nice dark color. I kind of like that. You know, it doesn't quite look like your traditional beer. It's got a little more red to it. I know on your screen it might look a little more like an amber ale, but it's truly like a dark red. Like if it didn't have the carbonation from the beer, it almost would give the appearance of like a dark red wine. I don't know if the quality of the screen quite does it justice, but I'll say it smells. I mean, you can definitely tell it was barrel aged. And got a little bit of that sweet wine taste, which, you know, I don't have a very big sweet palate. I'm not really into a lot of sweet candy or chocolate or anything like that, but I can appreciate a little nuances of sweet in different things, as long as it's not overpowering. So we'll see if it's too much sweet or not. So without further ado, cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well as we enter this holiday season in 2020, despite the craziness of the world right now. So here we go. You know, and again, I'm not a huge wine guy, but I will say this partakes a little bit of those wine flavors without overpowering the beer itself. So it's just kind of a very subtle sweetness. I wouldn't even call it sweetness. It's more of kind of a subtle tartness, which I like more. I'm more of if I'm going to have something that's, you know, kind of has more of that type of flavoring to it. I'd rather, instead of sweet, it be more like sour or tart. And it's not overly so. It's not like a warhead or anything like that. It truly is just kind of like it's a very subtle wine flavor. So I will say, if you're just pure, if you're a beer kind of guy, you like the flavor of beer, you like your hops, you like your malt, or anything like that nature, this is probably not the beer for you. If you're a little more open-minded and willing to try different things, or even just not really a beer person, just looking for something with a bit of flavor, I almost feel like this is something that almost everybody otherwise that partakes in liquor or beer would probably enjoy, because it's not overly, again, it's not overly sweet, it's not overly sour, it really isn't overly anything, but it has a lot of nuances, and you could tell it spent some time in a barrel, and I like that, because I feel like when you take a sip of it, as I'm going to do again, you could just get different bits of flavor. Like I'm getting, again, that tartness. I can taste, and I don't even know if I had it in there. It almost has like a little cherry taste in it compared to your usual like grape wine. So I'm not sure if it does have actually any cherry in there or not, but it's very, very good. It goes down very easily. And normally I'd be a little wary of. I'd be afraid to be a little too sour, but it's very good. So I highly recommend, if you're ever in the area, either in Indianapolis, Louisville, or anywhere in between, make your way up to Seymour, Indiana, and be sure before they run out to try the wine barrel aged Hustler beer. Dr. Manbeast recommends it. So come around, have yourself a taste. Hey, let me know. Maybe even we can have an unofficial humming meetup at some point. But either way, definitely, if you get a chance, come around, have yourself a beer or two from the Seymour Brewing Company. Doctor's orders. Cheers.